Hello, everyone. It's Sunday once again. It's now like 7 minutes past two. I'm really sorry about the previous one, but it's gonna be okay from now, I think. So it's 7 minutes past nine in Manila. I hope that some of you, my dear friends in the Philippines, are joining us live. And today's guest is actually from Liverpool. And I know that a lot of my friends in the Philippines, when it comes to like Liverpool bands, we're all gonna go yay. So yeah, he's a young drummer from Liverpool, and his band has actually been together for 10 years now. But I only discovered them recently when I went to Bootle Music Fest in Liverpool, and it's one of those bands that I discovered because I love Mick Head so much. So when you go and see Mick Head at his gigs, you get to discover lots of amazing bands and artists. But anyways, let's bring him on the show now. My dear friends, please welcome Anton Iga. Yay! Are we sounding okay now?
Sounds perfect, Anna. Thanks for calling me a young drummer as well. I'm getting on.
Oh, no, you are a young drummer. Like, yeah, like I said, it comes to because in the Philippines, we actually do love a lot of Liverpool bands, from the 80s and 90s and everything. So every time we say, oh, it's a band from Liverpool and Manchester as well, we all go, yes.
Liverpool's got such a strong music scene.
Yeah.
Over the
But
years.
why is it? I know that I always ask this question, but what do you think? What is it about Liverpool that produces so many amazing bands and musicians?
It's weird, isn't it? I think Liverpool, like, the people have a sense of camaraderie together, and I think it's a very community-minded city. I think Liverpool, and I think all types of politics, music, football, it kind of blends into one, and we get this like mesh of creativity, I think.
Yeah, yeah. But the last time I saw you was at the Bootle Music, or I should say Butles. Is it Bootle?
Yeah, brutal music festival.
Music Festival. And the headliner were Michael Head and the Red Elastic Band.
Yeah.
That was absolutely amazing. How have you been since?
Yeah, been brilliant. That was a brilliant gig as well. Like, Bootle's not far at all from where we all live. It's about 5 minutes in the car, and then we were supporting Mick Head. We were the main support, and it was class because like we love Mick, and Louis out the band, the singer, like Mick's his hero. Like, he absolutely adores him. So that was big for the band, and it was special for Lou, our singer, as well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Mick Head, oh my God, he's absolutely amazing. So, but anyways, yeah. Welcome to Ask the Drummer. Episode 97 is all about you, Anton Iga. So, can you just ask where are the Igas from? It's an unusual name, isn't it?
Eagles. My dad is from Kirby, which is it's kind of like Knowsley, Liverpool. That's all I know, really.
It's So are you from a musical family?
No, I'm not at all. I'm probably the only one in my family who plays any sort of instrument. I have an uncle called Gary Eager, and he used to play guitar in a Liverpool band years ago.
All right.
I forgot what they were called now. He'll kill me for that. But no one's really musical in my family, so I've got to pass the baton on now to my generation.
Yeah. Was it the 80s when your uncle used to play? Was it?
No, it was more like 2000s. I used to play like guitar in a band. He used to play I'm not going to say the name. The Romleys. They were called the Romleys.
Okay.
And they've done quite well. They used to play like all over the city, the country and stuff. But it wasn't too close to that side of the family. And I just started learning drums when I was young, and it just all stemmed from there, really.
Oh, right. Okay. So you're from Kirby?
No, I'm from. My dad's from Kirby when he was old, years ago, but
okay.
I've lived in Walton since.
Oh, right. What's Walton like?
It's the centre of the universe, Anne. No, it's good. Yeah, it's down. It's what we know, what I know. Walton Vale. It's yeah, it is what it is. It's a part of Liverpool. It's
Well,
not the most luxurious part, but we we like it.
yeah, yeah. And who would you say is like the most famous like musician that came out of Walton?
I'm gonna say the Cheap Thrills.
Yeah, that's
I honestly don't know. I know that the Beatles played. I think it was the Walton Community Club, which is right near my house, like years ago, and that's like it's demolished now. It's not there anymore. But that was always like a big talking point. So the Beatles played there. The Beatles played there.
yeah, yeah. So did you have like when you were say a teenager, did you have like clubs or venues, music venues that you used to go to, or did you go to the center? Or
We went to the centre. I mean, there was a pub which is our local called the Windsor pub, and I know they used to do small band nights and that there, and it was literally just a pub set up, no fancy PA, nothing like that.
yeah,
And the band nights there. But yeah, the majority of the music stuff was always in the centre. We'd always be getting a train from Orrell Park train station into the centre and just playing where we could.
yeah. Well, Aiden said that Aiden is my tech support, and he said sound and vision a-okay, so that's fine. And he also said that Walton is a-okay.
Okay, yeah, brilliant.
Because he loves Liverpool and he goes there quite a lot. I can't so like I don't know whether I've been to Walton, maybe not, but so like I can't so like see whereabouts, so like how close it is to the city centre. So
Yeah,
probably
about 15-minute drive. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So what got you into drumming?
Well, so I started drumming when I was about 9. So I was dead young, and we had the opportunity to have like 15-minute music lessons in our school. I went to a school called Blessed Sacrament, and yeah, like they had a drum teacher coming in, and we had 15 minutes between three kids, so we would get 5 minutes each on the drum kit. And initially, I wanted to play guitar, and it was my mum who was like, "No, you should play drum. Everyone plays guitar." And I bet she would get that now. When I turned up to the house, like she had to bought me a drum kit, and I was smashing away over the years. Yeah, in school, and we just have 5 minutes on the drum kit each, and I remember just loving it, and it just became kind of like a part of my routine. I'd have a small drum lesson once a week.
Oh right, so 5 minutes doing drum things at school, but then you actually had proper drum lessons.
Yeah, so
cool.
the teacher after I left the junior school, the teacher like gave me his number and was like, "If you want to carry it on, I can like come to your house." So like I'm dead fortunate where my mum and dad have said like, "We want to get you drum lessons," and then yeah, I just every week for an hour I play them. And to be honest, when I was younger, like I just seen it as part of the routine. I wasn't like super into music, in all honesty. And then as I got like into my teens, 14, 15, 16, that's when I started really going out. I can play the drums here, and I started to get really into my music from then. And then yeah, since it's just became a part of
I see. So it's not like you're driven from the start. It wasn't like you're like really passionate about the drums.
Yeah, and I'm totally honest about that. Like, I'm not gonna lie and say I just wanted to play the drum. Yeah, I just had drum lessons, and I just liked it. I did like it, and I carried on doing it.
Yeah, well, we've got to say that thanks to your mom. He said that no, you're not playing the guitar, you're playing the drum. That is so good. So did they buy you a kit or?
Oh yeah, so I remember so I started drums when I was I think 9. Yeah, I think maybe my 10th birthday. I got a drum kit, and it was I've still got it in the room next door. Actually, it's in a case. It was a performance percussion silver sparkle kit. I mean, like performance percussion, it's like the entry level drum kit. But I remember just going, "Oh my god, like this is amazing!" And it was in my nan and granddad's garage because we couldn't fit it in the house. Yeah, and I used to just bash away at it. And then I think it started collecting dust a bit in the garage because it wasn't in my house. And I think my mum eventually was convinced to put it in my house rather than my nan's.
Yeah. And what about the neighbors? Were they okay?
You know what? I never had one complaint. Yeah, I remember one time though. I remember playing, and this was in the day. It was like a Saturday, and I was playing on my drums at about one in the afternoon. And I just looked out the window and I seen an old man with a walking stick just screaming at me. And I didn't know what he was saying because I couldn't hear him, but he was just screaming. That was the only incident I had.
Oh God. So you're 14 when you actually realized that this is something that you wanted to do, that
Yeah,
you're really good at drums and you
yeah.
wanted to do this. So what was your first band?
My first band was the Cheap Thrills, and my last band will be the Cheap Thrills as well. Like this is it. This is it for me. The Cheap Thrills are my music career, as far
Yeah.
as I'm concerned. Yeah, so the Cheap Thrills. Yeah,
Oh, because on Wikipedia it actually says that this is your band. You and Callum, who's the bass player, actually
yeah,
formed this band.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say it was my band. We all it's 25% each. We all have it's a quarter of our band each. But yeah,
Yeah.
me and Fitzy, Callum, he bought a bass guitar for Christmas, so he got given one, and he lives like 2 minutes from me. And I remember on Boxing Day, I can't tell you the year, I'm not sure. He came round and we were just jamming,
Yeah.
and that eventually became like the foundations of the Cheap Thrills. We were just playing covers,
Yeah. Yeah.
just jamming really, and we eventually got Terry, our guitarist, in, and then Louis,
Louis,
also as
yeah.
a guitarist, but we didn't have a singer, and Louis just took the reins and said, "Okay, I'll give it a go."
Oh, did you not want to be the singer of the band?
Yeah, listen, if I was the singer, the band wouldn't have lasted 2 weeks.
Oh, sorry. So where did the name The Cheap Thrills come from? Because if you Google it, there's actually several things that will come up. Because
Yeah, it's
there was
not.
like,
Yeah,
yeah, there was like several bands called The Cheap Thrills, or without the it's just Cheap Thrills. There's like a punk band from Florida, I think, and then there's one that's from it's a Canadian band.
yeah,
And the one that comes up all the time is a song by Sia.
yeah. That song haunts us. Oh my god, we can't like escape that. If you search Cheap Thrills, she's like Sia comes up, and obviously she's like a superstar. So everything we get done, it just like drowns our social media. So yeah, there's a few.
Where did that come from then? Where did the name come from?
So when we started, we didn't start as the Cheap Thrills. We had a few names. When you're starting out, it took us ages to find a name. I remember we were called Master Plan at one point, and this was just for like a couple of weeks. And I think is it an Oasis EP or album?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so we didn't want that connotation with the Oasis thing because we were already like indie rock and sounded like the Arctic Monkeys.
Yeah.
So Louis came up with it, I think, and he was listening to Sex Pistols. I think it's a song called New York, and in the lyrics he mentions Cheap Thrills. And we were just like, yeah, that's cool. It's kind of like what we're about. Like we were all young, we had no money, and we just wanted like literally cheap thrills. We were just like going to gigs. We were sneaking our own booze in, and it was just like kind of like that. I thought it suited us quite nicely.
Yeah. Well, there's also another one which is the title of an album. And I think that I always
Yeah,
saw like every time I saw it on Discogs, it's it's a Janis
yeah,
Joplin's band called
yeah.
Big Brother and the Holding Company.
Yes, that always comes up as well. But I'm pretty sure we were the first Cheap Thrills not before Janis Joplin album, but the first band. There was a Canadian band who like
Yeah, yeah.
formed after us, but then got like really big, and they formed the name after us. But they didn't last long. We outlived them, so now we're the Thrills. And there
And
was a
that
band.
is,
There
yeah,
was a band from America, and they were like these like. Um,
they're a punk band, I think, from Florida, I think.
Well, no, I thought. Well, I don't know about that. They might be, but there was a band who were like country music, and it was like 70-year-old fellas, and they actually used our logo. So you see this logo there.
Yeah.
I was googling Cheap Thrills as you do, right? I need to know what people saying about us, and they came up and they were using our logo at gigs, and it was like, oh, these guys had just searched Cheap Thrills logo and just used it. And we messaged them saying, "Listen, like we respect the hustle, but can you stop?"
That's good because you actually. I don't know if this is right, but Wikipedia says that you formed in 2010.
Yeah,
That's like 13 years ago now. It's like,
yeah,
what was it like in the first, say, couple of years? Were there lots of gigs and
yeah. It was, we were discovering our instruments, so like I could play to a decent level. Fitzy, the bassist, he started learning with me. I think he knew a bit of guitar, and same with Louis and Teddy. They all knew a little bit, but we were learning our instruments really, and learning how to play not just on your own in your bedroom with like three other people. So we were just learning, and we were just trying to write as much as possible and gig as much as possible and get as much possible experience and just have fun. Uh,
Yeah.
it was just something to keep us occupied and keep us busy, and a hobby. I mean, it still is to a large extent. But we just all fell in love with it, and that's why we've been going for that long, and we've got a very good relationship with one another. We get along with each other.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it also says that the Guardian actually saw like so is it the breakthrough or something
Yeah,
like the best bands?
yeah. So this was when we were, still quite young. So the Guardian done this like write up on us, and it was
Yeah,
out a few bands, and we had to get votes in to let them see, like, let them pitch. Let's start that again. We had to ask our fans to vote, and whoever was in like the top three, the Guardian picked the band out of them, and they actually picked us. And this was in like 2013, and we were like super young. And I mean, the Guardian's huge. We still, if we got a Guardian
yeah.
out, we'd still be made up. So yeah, that was pretty good for us because then we could like approach promoters and like all the festivals and stuff and say, listen, the Guardian have wrote this about us. Will you give us a shot?
Yeah, yeah. Is that when you signed with 80s Vinyl Records?
No, that was 80s Vinyl was a few years after. That was Dave Hewiton, who helped us out loads when we, not when we first started out, but when we started getting a little bit more traction. So about 5 years in, 6 years in, we released an EP called Glare, and
Yeah,
also Voodoo. He done two with us. He done a 7-inch and a 12-inch a couple of years apart. And yeah,
yeah,
he like we had a deal where he got some vinyl done, and he'd sell it on his site, and he'd also give some to us to sell. And like he
yeah,
helped us loads. Like, that's a massive thing to get something physical.
yeah.
Yeah, so that was quite cool.
Yeah, it's good that you have those sort of like physical formats, and I don't know, so like, if, are they still available when you like when you go to gigs? Do you still sell them at your gigs, or I
Yeah, we
mean,
don't have any left anymore. I probably have a couple at home, but they're all battered. They're like being in the drawer for ages. But we
yeah,
sold them all. But yeah, we're gonna keep like in the future. We're still gonna get physicals done.
yeah, because
I
that
think
12-inch the 12-inch EP, I actually looked it up on Discogs, and a couple of them are sort of like being sold in America, and it's all
really.
like quite, yeah, so like why they've actually reached America and then they're selling it there,
Oh, that's
and
mad.
then but the ones that are in the UK are actually a bit more expensive, and I was all like thinking, can you get them at gigs?
Yeah. Well, we played in New York once, and I went to. I've always wanted the record Stockton Rough Trade. Like, Rough Trade for me is like
Yeah,
Mecca. And we played. I had a gig in New York, and Rough Trades was open in Brooklyn, and I took like 10 Voodoo like 12-inch EPs, and we went to Rough Trade. I was like, listen, can you stock them? We just want them sold in the shop. And I think
yeah,
he was like, yeah, and he bought them off us for like a couple of dollars each. And then they were there on the shelf then, and for me that was like insane. Like, our records getting sold in Rough Trade in New York.
Rough Trade, New York. Yeah, and what was that gig like? I mean, going to New York is like must be
Yes. So
a
this was
dream.
2020, so like we've jumped like 10 years now. So that was mad actually, because it was at the start of COVID. And it was
Oh,
it was more in England. COVID wasn't really a thing just yet. Like, it was breaking, but we thought, oh, it's not in England yet. And then we went to New York, and COVID
yeah,
was like full lockdown, so there was hardly anyone on the street. And this music festival, it was called New Colossus Festival in New York. It's like an emerging bands festival.
yeah,
we played a gig in the Pianos Bar, which is on Lower East Side. It's like a dead famous music venue. And the gig was boss because we brought 20 Scousers over with us, like all of our mates. We all paid for the flights, people came. So like the venue was busy, and then you had 20 like people from Liverpool, all our mates in there as well, and everyone was bouncing.
Yeah.
We got a little bit in trouble because there was some reviews on Reddit like I don't think this band knew there was a lockdown and no one was respecting social distance.
Oh,
Everyone had a good time.
Was that like the start of 2020?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we was meant to play 2 gigs.
Yeah.
One got cancelled, so we were dead lucky. But what happened was the second one got cancelled, and we were like, we've came to New York, like we spent all this money hiring equipment, buying flights,
Yeah.
we're playing a gig. So I woke up the next day, got told the gig was off, and I was like, right, we're playing in New York. I don't care where we're playing it. And I was like emailing people, phoning people, saying, listen, we need to play tonight. We need a gig. And eventually we got us a gig in Brooklyn, and it was a bar called Gold Sounds Bar. There was no one there, just our mates. It was just 20 Scousers and us, and we were just playing in New York. But it was good.
It's strange because there's another thing that I noticed about Liverpool music fans. I think if you really look at it, they're like the best sort like fans to have. Because if you go to a McHead gig, and then I think they're called like the Shacknet horns.
Yeah,
they're like the best because they also sing the bits where it's supposed to be instrumental. So absolutely amazing. And I remember when I had Noel O'Donnell on the show a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about when Mick Head sort of like played at Straven, which is in Scotland. And I think that was the first time that he's actually sort of like seen this happening with like, there were some fans from Liverpool there. And then they were doing this sort of like, it's supposed to be an instrumental bit, but they're all singing that instrumental bit.
When people are singing the guitar solo.
Yeah. This, I think that is really good. It's just amazing. So my friend said that if Mick Head is playing Liverpool, he wants to be there because he wants to experience that kind of
yeah.
So like environment.
Notorious for that as well. Like the Scottish crowd, Scottish music lovers, they're notorious for being crazy.
Yeah.
They're like really good fans to play to.
Yeah, I think you get that as well on your gigs, that people actually sort of like sing the bits.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be just a guitar or maybe just a horn or something. But anyway, so that was in 2020 when you did New York. So can you tell us more about sort of like the early years? So did you do a lot of gigging in like local music venues in
It's all a blur. It all blends into one. So the first, we used to practice in Vulcan Studios on the Dock Road. It's still there. It's just like you pay per hour and you go in and practice. We've done that for years, and then we play gigs on a Saturday. We played it's our first gig was in the Zanzibar, which on Seal Street, which is like super famous venue.
That
was amazing. We had like 100 people there to come and see us on a Sunday afternoon. We just had everyone from school, all of our mates, and that was mad. And then as the years went by, we rented our own practice room. So like we wasn't paying per hour, we were paying per month. So we'd have like a hub like this one. We could just come in at any time, 24/7. And I think the first one was in Crash Studios. It's not there no more. It was in town. So like we're 15, 16, and we had like a room in town what we could access 24/7. So that was mad. We used to share with a few bands over the years. One band, Go Fiasco. We used to share with them. And just be playing as much as we could in like the Casimir. The Picket was another venue which is called District now.
Okay,
And then since then we moved like to a few practice rooms, and we had one on Dale Street at one point. And this was the best one. It was like the top of a apartment building in Dale Street. You could see the Radio City Tower and things from the room. I remember always,
Yeah.
and then we'd have parties and stuff in there, and it was just boss.
It's not Elevator Studios, is it? Is it Elevator?
It's the old one, so it's not the. There's two elevators. I think it was
Yeah.
it was called Elevator. Yeah, it's the elevator on Cheapside around there.
Oh yeah, Cheapside. Yeah, yeah, that's the one.
So we had a room there.
Oh wow.
And we just practice, and then what we done then, we moved to Victoria Street, and we had a room there, and that was probably the room we were in for the longest, which was like we
Oh,
had
I
been there
see.
for 4 or 5 years, and that's where we had our own room. We wasn't sharing with anyone at this point, so we could really knuckle down, and everything would be set up, and we could like write all the songs there. So a lot of our songs, like Codependence, which is one of our like biggest songs, that was written in Victoria Street in town.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
over the years, we came here, we got closer to our house. So this is it. We're in Walton now. So we have our own studio. We built it. It's like an industrial unit. And then
Okay.
we all put some money together. Our dad's helped us out. And
Yeah, yeah.
got like a home for the band, much closer to our houses as well.
So this is your studio now.
Yeah,
It's not. Is it in your house? Is it in your house?
now it's in on an industrial estate near our house. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
we've just we've been back from a gig, so nothing set up. This is the problem. We say we need lots of equipment. We should have some equipment, but we just leave set up, and some equipment for gigging. But we're not that rich yet. We only have one set.
No, the reason why I asked about the Elevator Studios on Cheapside is I don't know if you've heard of Candy Opera.
Yeah, I have.
There's a band called Candy Opera, and that's what they did. That's where they recorded the Patron Saint of Heartache, and yeah, I went there twice actually, and I like that studio. Which reminds me, I don't know if a lot of music fans sort of like realize how hard, or maybe because when you got the finished product, which is the vinyl, or say the album or a CD copy of it, you don't realize the hours that these musicians put in. And then sometimes one day, and all it is just one song, and it's not even finished. So
the amount of effort the amount of time you put in to release one song is insane.
yeah,
And only a few people really understand it, unless you've made it and like you've actually done the process. It's insane how much work goes into it. And like you've got like Spotify now, where it just becomes so consumable. You listen to one song and then you don't listen to it ever again.
yeah.
That's why I like the idea of vinyl. It's like immortalizing a product, and it's physical. It's not in some digital like cloud. You've got something physical in your hands.
Yeah, yeah. So you've got everything set up there, so you do all your recording. Say, have you got a new album coming up? So do you do it there, or this is just a practice studio?
This is just like a practice studio. We do our demos here. So like when we've got ideas, we'd write demos, but we wouldn't release them. We're not good enough like to record our music as well. That takes another specialist. So we work with a producer called Alex Quinn, who's he's really good. He's released loads of stuff. Like I think he's done like the lottery winners stuff and that. And we go to him, and he helps us like put our ideas together and makes it sound really good on record. Where we just do this as a writing room and a rehearsal room for our live gigs.
Yeah. Has it always been just the four of you? Is that like the original lineup, and still is? So like
yeah, and I think that's what's like quite special about us. Like the Cheap Thrills is the four of us, and if that ever changed, then it's no longer the Cheap Thrills. It's something different. So it's always been the same four members.
Yeah.
We had a period where Fitzy, our bassist, he went to Canada for 2 years. Like wanted to work over there and stuff. So we sat down and was like, okay, what are we gonna do? Because the band still needs to continue, and we don't really want to get anyone else in because it becomes different then. So we got him to record all of his parts, all of his songs, and then we played it as like a backing track live through a bass amp, and we brought a cardboard cutout of him. so all of his bass parts were played through his bass amp, just like he was there, but he wasn't. So we was playing like the same song for 2 years, but we got loads of writing done. Yeah.
So are you saying that so if one of us or one of you decides to sort of like leave, then that will be the end of the cheap thrills?
Yeah, I definitely, yeah. If one, well, I don't know if something else would carry on, but the cheap
Yeah,
thrills, there's the four of us. Like, we that's what we recognise as the cheap thrills, I think.
yeah. What's the writing so like process is like? Do you all sort of like chip in and sort of like write the material, or is it just one songwriter and then you all just sort of
So
like
Louis, our singer, and the primary songwriter. Like he's always like writing tunes and melodies, and he'll bring most of the time bring a song in, or maybe a
yeah,
chorus, or maybe a verse, or maybe a full song, and he'll
yeah,
bring it into the four of us, and we'll all have our own input on it. Then, like we might change a couple of lyrics, we might add to a melody, we might, like we might manipulate the song completely, and then what we'll do, we'll get it. What we've started to do is getting it down on the laptop. We used to just like play the same song over like 100 times and record it on our phone, but we
yeah,
discovered like we eventually learned that that wasn't the most efficient way, because when you're demoing songs,
yeah, yeah,
constantly playing the different parts and trying it out, and we thought it's easier on the laptop, so we started doing stuff on Logic now, where we all chip in, we're all sitting around the computer, and then when we're happy with it, which we never are, we take it into like Kempston Street Studios, and we pay for a proper production of it.
yeah. I always sort of like I always forget sort of like to ask the drummer guests on the show about this, but do you know when you do a song, say
Yeah.
someone say Louis will come up with the song with lyrics and stuff. What does the drummer actually sort of like? Do you do your own drum parts, or is it the songwriter who's already got the drum parts in his head and then you just
No,
tells you?
yeah, it'd be me. So like Louis would bring a melody in or a chord pattern, and the rest of it like synth lines, bass parts,
Yeah,
drum parts. They're up to us. So like imagine an acoustic tune getting brought into a band, like the band room, and then
yeah,
we bandify it. So we have to make it. We have to give it different parts, and we'd all come up with our own parts. We'd all have a suggestion. We might say, "Oh, maybe try this," or "That doesn't really sound good." So we all kind of input, but it's mainly
yeah,
ourselves writing our own parts. And I used to be terrible because I used to try and just make the most complicated drum parts I could. But then in the dynamic of the song, it was never like, it didn't work. So I learned only a few years ago just to like play to the song, and just the song's the main part. It's not just the drums, or it's not just one particular part. We're writing for the
yeah.
composition.
Is it is it sort of like because the way I see it is because I'm not a musician, so I don't really know what the process is or what what goes on in sort of like producing or releasing a single or a song. But so is it always the songwriters got this idea in his head, and then sort of like maybe the guitar bass or acoustic, and then the drummer sort of like puts his drum part, or do you sometimes start with the song? You've got an idea for a song, and then they also like
That can
go.
happen. It's not as common. Well, I know other bands who do it that way, but for us, it's not that common. Like, um, we might have a jam. We might have a
Yeah,
jam, and we have like a nice like instrumental, and then Louis might add a lyric or something to that. That has happened, but it's not as common as Louis coming in with a tune, and then us all adding our own parts to that, not the other way around.
oh, see, okay. So do you think other bands do that? That it's the drummer who actually has the original idea first?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I can't give an example, but I know it. I know it's happened. I can't remember now. I think I listened to this podcast called. It's John Kennedy hosts the podcast. It's on Spotify. It's called Tape Notes, and it's about bands bringing the demos uh, into like the studio. And John
Yeah,
Kennedy picks them apart and goes like, "Why did you do this drum beat? Why did you do this?" And I think a band called Easy Life, you probably heard of them. They're like kind of like the Streets a little bit.
yeah,
They start with like drum loops first, because they're not really a rock band. but they have like loops and then the add lyrics over that. So I think it works in that style of music.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. Well, so like, because that's really interesting. I find that really, really good. But anyway, so you've been together for 13 years.
Insane, isn't
Yeah.
it?
So there must, so like, I don't know if you don't want to answer it, that's fine. But you must have had some sort of like falling out, or like maybe so like some fights in the band, because that is common, isn't it? It does happen
Yeah,
in bands, being
honestly,
together for so long.
we have never had like a spat really. We have like debates. I'd say like when we're writing songs, it'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, lads, and it kind of gets a bit like we didn't like we're working with each other, so sometimes it gets a bit. I don't know, like not tense. No, we don't really fight. No, I can't say that we've ever
No.
fought. We have like debate, so it'll be like, oh, shut up. That's what it'd be like. You're doing me head in, but you'd say that to your siblings if you're in a room with these people or in a van for that long.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, no, and I think that's why we've been together so long. We know how to work with each other, and we know each other's personalities, and we all like being around each other.
yeah. Well, I hope that you be so like stay for as long as possible and everything. So, have you got any albums? Because I know that you've got a gig planned this year. Is there still one this year?
It's in
There is one next year, isn't there?
we've got a big Liverpool gig in March, so it's in a venue called Content. It's the 2nd of March, and that's our biggest gig. So the last Liverpool gigs we've done over the last 2 years have just been going bigger, bigger, bigger. So this one's a 1,400 capacity music venue in the Baltic. Yeah, so this is like massive for us. It's crazy, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got. Oh, I nearly said something. We haven't announced it yet, but we'll have releases coming out to like accompany that gig, and then
Yeah.
in the next year we've been recording loads the last year. We've got loads of songs there, and then it's deciding what to do with it, which is the hard
Yeah.
part for us because we're independent. We don't have a label. If we were to release an album, like it'd be hard for us just to do it without any support. So this is where it comes in, where we'd like someone to help us release an album if we were to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you're not signed with 80s vinyl
No,
music
no. So that was just like a one-off
one off. Okay.
collaboration. It was a collaboration we done with them. And no, we don't have. We're completely independent. We don't have a manager. We don't have an agent. We don't have a record label. It's just 4 of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think do you think it's so like better, or in a way
In
you
ways, it is.
yeah.
In ways, because I think like we're not restricted to anything. Like we can make our own decisions, but then sometimes it's really hard to make these decisions. We have to make some tough calls on what to do without really any advice. So we just kind
Yeah.
of doing it. It's also really hard for us to get like festival gigs and stuff because we haven't got no one representing us. But when we do these Liverpool gigs and you see 1,000 people in front of you who have came to see us, to me, I don't really care. That's the thing that we like doing.
But are you actively sort of like looking for someone to
Yeah,
manage you, or someone to sort of like
yeah, like
sign you?
the offer's always open. We're always we're ready to discuss with anyone.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, good luck, because you do. I mean, I think I'm surprised that no one has signed you up yet, because I thought you was already, like 13 years together. You've actually released all these music as well. And also another thing that I found out from Wikipedia is like the first ever Sound Music Awards, which was last year. So
Yeah,
that's a Liverpool sort of like based music awards, and you won the first ever sort of like Liverpool Band of the Year
yeah,
award.
which is a surprise because like we were up with Red Rum Club, Stone, uh,
All right,
and they
yeah,
were like smashing it, like absolutely unbelievably smashing it. So we
yeah,
turned up just to have a night out, and yeah, it was fan voted, so everyone voted, and yeah, we eventually won it. I've actually got the award there. This is the award we won,
oh wow,
music awards. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. That. So each one of you's got it, or is it just the
So
one
just that
band?
one. So our trophy cabinet's looking a bit sparse at the moment. We've got we've got one award. Actually, we've got two. We've got a sound music award, and we've got a soccer six cup that we won a football tournament. But like it was
Oh,
band playing against each other. So we've
oh,
only got two awards.
oh, that's another thing. So, like I was going to say, Liverpool is like music and football, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like with Manchester, there's music and there's always football as well. So you've got both. You've got an award for football. You've got an award. That's brilliant. I mean, I really do hope that you find someone who take you to all these because you need to. I
Yeah.
mean, you've got to be so like massive. Especially, I mean, when you said that it's just really the four of you, the first thing that comes to mind is you two. I mean, you two are like that, right? There's
Oh,
always
really?
been just the four of them, and they've always like split everything, so like 25% each. It's not like just Bono or the Edge getting everything, and then just the two of them. Yeah, because that's what you're doing. It's just everyone gets an equal share.
Yeah, and I think that's the way to do it. I mean, yeah, because this isn't like a project to us. I see bands getting described as projects where they try a project out, try it for a couple of years, it doesn't work,
Yeah,
go back and speak to other musos. This is just like a part of our life, and there's no everyone's equal in the band, and that's the best way to do it, I think.
yeah, yeah. So, when you're not drumming and when you're not gigging or anything, what keeps you busy?
um, well, to be honest, that I do a lot of the artwork, so I kind of manage the band. Like I took like a managerial point. I'm like the point of contact. So if anyone wants to speak to the Cheap Thrills, they go through me on the email. So I'll be like, I make all the artworks for us. I'm answering emails, do the social media for us. So that's kind
Yeah,
of, I mean that takes up so much time. Like
I
design
know.
covers, single covers, things like this. Oh my god, it takes ages, and it's so hard to be creative. So like we our last few releases a few years ago were all like space themed. So I was designing these on Photoshop, these single covers and EP covers, and then I bought a new laptop. My laptop was awful. It was a Mac and it was so slow. So I invested some money into a better one. And for like a year, I couldn't create anything good, any artworks. I just couldn't do it. I was going back to these space themes, and the lads were like, we love the artwork, but like we've got to come up with something new. We've got to go for a new approach. So I spent hours. I spent hours really like trying to find a new style. And
Yeah.
I've got artworks here, what we haven't released yet, what will accompany music over the next few months. And it's like a really cool new like style and era for the band.
So the album or the EP covers, they're all yours. They're all
Yeah,
yours, sort of like artwork.
yeah,
Even the 12-inch one as
yeah.
well.
So
Yeah,
that's the EP covers like a girl sitting on a rock
yeah, yeah.
into space. And the title of the EP is called Vue du Monde. It's French for View of the World. So that's where that idea come from.
Oh, I see. And that's all your sort of like artwork and your idea and everything. I
Yeah,
said just band. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, I really hope I wish you all the best because that's like a lot of things to do when you're talking about social media. I mean, social media is almost like a full-time job, isn't it?
Yeah, it takes so long. Like I do it like in the gym and stuff. So like we were posting about our content gig in March, and like to post on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. It took me like 45 minutes to do it all. I don't know why it took that long, but it takes ages.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean about all that because I mean I concentrate on Facebook and that's how I sort of like contact or message most of the drummers that I get on the show. But sometimes you have to do Twitter and you have to do or X. It's called X now,
Yeah, yeah.
and Instagram as well because sometimes they're there and not really on Facebook, so you've got to find out where they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so good luck with the cheap
Thanks very
thrills
much.
and everything. So you haven't got anything else this year? Because I thought there was another sort of like date that you got on your
I hope there
Facebook.
isn't.
Oh,
We've
all
we
right.
haven't got any, I don't think we've got any gigs this year. We were meant to play with Sega Waves last week, but
Oh,
it
yeah,
got
that's yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it got postponed. I think the singer had a voice problem, so it's now being postponed to January. So we'll be playing that, and we'll be playing in Edinburgh and Glasgow and Liverpool next year.
Next year, yeah, okay. So that's it for the rest of 2023 for the cheap thrills. Then it just
But
so
for live gigs, yeah, but we're doing things for
yeah,
next year in preparation. So like we're doing
yeah.
recordings and things like this. So next year we'll have loads of ammunition to release.
That's brilliant. We're really looking forward to that one. But I've got four more questions for you before you go. These
Okay.
are like yeah, it's just the regular questions that I ask. Um, I know that so I have seen you perform live. I don't think I remember seeing you twirl. Do you twirl when you play the drums?
Yeah. You know what? When I was like younger, when we were first gigging out, every song I'd just be like that spinning the sticks. But now I try not to do it no more. Sometimes I do it, but it's out of habit. I shouldn't really do it. When I see them, I'm just like, oh man, come on. Sometimes I think,
I think it is good when when the drummer actually does that. So, like, but I saw you like stand up. There's one song because you have to forgive me that I don't know all the Cheap Thrill songs yet. But there was one song that I actually posted on Facebook that you stand up. So you like encourage people to like clap
yeah,
your hands and stuff. I think that's a really good song, that one. So you
yes, that one's called Codependence.
Oh, that's the one that saw like the big hit because everyone was so like really getting into it as well. Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. So
that last part of the song, I'm standing up and like I've I've got to do it every gig now. I think I'd done it once, and it was in a tiny venue, and I'm quite tall, so the ceiling was like right next to my head, and I was smacking my sticks on the roof of the venue. And I think the lads turned around to me, was like, "You got to do that all the time." So now, every time on that song, I can't not do it. I've got to do it, but it gets people going as well.
yeah, yeah. So it is good that you're not just at the back playing the drums. You actually like you're active and so like showing the audience that you are like
Yeah,
playing this amazing drum. So that's really good. So hopefully next time I see you next year,
yeah,
and I'll try to get to that place where you're playing your massive
yeah.
gig content in Liverpool. Hopefully you'll do your twirling again.
I don't worry, I'll be doing it.
Well, the next one is like 13 years of being together. Have you ever had an accident or what I call drumming disaster?
um, oh, you mean like, oh yeah,
Maybe
loads.
it's falling.
Loads. I will be here for another 45 minutes. I've done stuff where I've like hit the snare drum and like busted me finger and been blood everywhere. I used to go through a constant battle of the bass drum sliding away from me all the
Oh
time.
yeah,
That's the
yeah.
worst thing that can happen to a drummer when your bass drum moves away. Like you can't do anything. You're pulling it back every song. I've had drum kits fall apart on me mid gig, like floor toms on the floor. Um, yeah, I think everything that could go wrong, it's happened to me. But you just got to deal with it. And I used to stress out so much. Actually, I'll give you an example. The worst example was we done this like live set. It was for Lipper, the
Oh yeah, yeah,
and Janice Long was presenting this like live TV show thing, and it was a record in a recording studio, and it was broadcasted live like this, and we were all playing. And
yeah,
I use a click track, so a metronome in my ear, and we use backing tracks as well. So we have like tambourines and little synth parts because obviously we're a four piece and we haven't got the money to pay percussionists. Yeah, because I love them.
yeah, yeah.
So we have like tambourine and stuff. And I remember all the lights going down, and Janice Long was like, okay, now we've got the cheap thrills. And as she said it, my earphones broke, just cut out. And I've never been so stressed in my life. So all the backing tracks started going out of time because there was no metronome in the ear. And I came off stage and I was just like going ballistic. That was the worst thing that's happened. It probably doesn't sound as dramatic as a drum kit falling over, but for me, that was just horrific. Because if you're a drummer playing out of time, it's the worst thing you can ever do.
Yeah, it's true. I always sort of like get fascinated by that click track.
Yeah.
I think I've got an idea of what it is, but it's always like when people talk about, or when drummers talk about this click track and things, it's like, so what is it exactly?
Yeah.
It's
It keeps it. Every song has a certain tempo, and that tempo's in my ears, like beeping. So the song will stay at a certain tempo for the whole set, and it doesn't drift. So that's really good because you can do things. You can have backing track, and you can have lights. The stage like syncopated to the song, because obviously if you're playing a little bit faster one week and a little bit slower the other week, things might go off. So the click tracks, I think it's like really important.
is that does every drummer have that kind of sort of like click track
Not
thing?
everyone, but it's very common. Some bands just like when we started out, I didn't
Yeah.
used to play to it, but as you get more experience, you learn that like it's a really good skill to have.
And it's something that you program beforehand, or is,
So we programmed it before, and if you can see there, this thing is a sample pad. It's called the Roland SPDSX, and you'll see this to the side of drummers all the time, and it's basically like a computer unit. What you can have metronomes and backing tracks and things programmed from. So that's what we use.
oh, I see. But you're the only one who can hear it, so the
Yeah.
audience can't hear it because
No.
yeah.
So the audience can't hear it. Yeah.
Oh wow. God, do you know what? I remember now all these. I have seen drummers like with their sort of like so the bass drum that's sort of like rolling because the carpet is not
Yeah.
so like.
So that's the way. That's honestly that's the worst thing.
You can see sort of like the drummer's getting frustrated because it keeps sort of like trying to pull it.
I mean, so now like I've learned how to stop it. It's not. It's normally when because you're a drummer, you normally play on other people's kits. So
Yeah,
obviously, when more bands are playing, it's a nightmare for every band to have a drum kit. So they'll usually have a house kit or
yeah,
one band's kit, and if you're not used to playing another person's kit, you don't know how to set it up. So like I put Velcro underneath my bass drum pedal, and I'd play on a carpet, and that keeps everything nice and secure. But if you're playing on like a smooth floor, the drum kit's gonna go, and you're gonna have to be pulling it back.
and how easy so like it is to play or to use other people's sort of like drum kit.
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky because like you're playing someone else's. If someone's drums off by an inch, it feels a bit weird. So I mean, you just got to get used to it. That's a sad fact of being a drummer. You have to play on other people's drum kits when
Yeah,
you're starting out. I find it easier now than what it did when I first was playing. It was like all the rest of the band are playing their own instruments. It's fine, and then I get this drum kit could be completely different to mine. Things are set up different heights, and you just got to deal with it. You just got to learn how to. You got to bring. I bring like a bag full of spare things in case I need to make any quick changes.
yeah. Because especially at festivals,
Yeah.
when I saw you in Buddha, was that Phil Murphy's drum kit that you used?
No, that was the house drum kit. So the festival supplied their own drum kit, what all the drummers
Oh,
use. That was a
yeah,
crazy drum kit because I play with a bass drum, a first tom, and a floor tom. So I play with and a snare drum, 4 drums. This one had like 5 drums on it. I had like 3 extra toms. So I was like, what the hell? I'm not used to this. So I was like, I'm like, I've never played on a kit with like that many drums before, and it was like Phil Collins' drum kit.
yeah.
But it puts you off. You think you can do it, but I was like, no, I'll just stick to me one drum. I won't even touch them.
Oh god. And so like if it's other persons, not the house drum kit, but so like if it's another band, so like do you find that some of them are actually precious about their drum kit and they don't want you to sort of like hit
Yeah,
hard or
I didn't get
something?
that yet. So, well, not even. I think hitting hard's okay. It's more if you adjust it. So, like, I wouldn't go if I was using another band's drum kit. I'd ask them if I could adjust it. But some people have like locks on the stands, so you can't adjust it, which is fine. It happens to us all. Um,
Yeah.
because it's annoying if another band's been on your drum kit and have moved through all, and then you've got to go on it and reposition it. Yeah, you just got to get used to it.
It's different with guitarists because with guitarists, say a string came off or something, they can always just ask if there's any spare guitar or maybe something that we can use. But with the drum kit, it's a bit more so like difficult, isn't it? Because
Yeah,
I mean, say the first band is so like maybe hit the drum so hard that it so like ruined it or something. It would be a bit difficult for the next band to so like get another thing.
that hasn't happened to us yet. And I mean, if it's the chance of it happening, it probably will happen at some point. Yeah, I mean, if a drum breaks, I mean, what can you? No one has a spare drum kit, so I don't know what
Yeah.
you do in that situation.
Well, hopefully it doesn't happen. But next one is drumming heroes. Who are your drumming heroes?
Yeah. So for me, Matt Elders from the Art of Monkeys, I absolutely love him. Like his style of drumming was just crazy. Like some of the parts he does, I just don't know how we came up with him and how his complicated parts fit within like the Art of Monkeys songs.
Yeah,
It's just crazy. So Matt Elders, as I was a kid, and still now, he's my drumming hero. I used to learn all Art of Monkeys songs when I was younger, and yes,
yeah.
that actually still now. Still, I like listening to the parts. Also, John Bonham, like
Oh,
he
yeah,
you
yeah,
can't mention drumming heroes without John Bonham.
yeah, yeah. That's true. Yeah,
I yeah, I like to listen to him and pick apart he does triplets, which is a particular type of like drum fill you can do. What sounds super complicated, but really it's just three hits. And when you do it really fast, it just looks unreal. And he was kind of like the guy to start doing that. So
yeah.
yeah, I think them two really, them two are I look up to.
Ringo Starr.
Yeah, I mean Ringo, yeah, he has
Yes.
his own unique sort of like playing style. But I like the Beatles, but I'm not like massively into Ringo as much as you'd think as me being from Liverpool.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's so like I don't know if it's true now, but maybe not. But in the 80s, apparently, I've read books or people have sort of like said that because of the influence of the Beatles in Liverpool, that most of the musicians they just wanted to get away from.
Yeah,
They just wanted
yeah,
to sort of like start something different and not be compared to.
yeah. I done a podcast a few years ago. It was with Pete Wiley, and it was for the Liverpool Echo, and it was the Beatles podcast, and we had this discussion of you can't get away from the Beatles. Like the Beatles have influenced so much modern pop music, like
Yeah,
arrangements and drum beats. Everything like in modern pop now all stem from the Beatles. So no matter if you don't like the Beatles, their influence has spanned generations.
yeah, yeah. Because it's like I think it's the same with McHead. I mean, he's not really a big fan of the Beatles. He's more into love, I believe. But, but I think you can sort of like sort of like hear some Beatles inspired songs, so that he's done. So um. Anyway, so last one is advice to aspiring drummers or musicians.
um, well, I'll go with drummers first, because I teach drums as well.
Oh, do
That's
you?
my spare time. I'm a drum teacher, so I've taught I've taught for the last like I don't know 8 years. Um,
Oh,
so I teach kids quite a lot, and I've taught adults as well.
wow. Yeah.
Um, the most important thing is it's literally it's not a big secret. It's just that you've got to practice. It's super repetitive. You've got to make loads of mistakes. You've got to just keep trying and just keep persevering. It's really complicated at first, but if you keep practicing, then you get better.
Yeah.
In terms of bands and not just drumming, it's a tough one because there's no unique way. Like the Cheap Thrills have found our way through doing everything DIY, and just like doing our DIY gigs and it becoming popular. Uh, you've just got to be committed and just gig as much as you can and learn your instrument, learn how to play in a band.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard. There's no secret recipe. Everyone I know has done it different ways. Some people have one gig and get signed up. Some people spend 13 years of their life trying to get signed. And to be fair with us, we spent a good 6 years trying to get signed. And then after we just accepted the fact, oh, like, let's just do it because we like doing it. Let's put on our own events rather than going through a promoter. Let's just put on our own parties. That's when it started taking off for us. So obviously we're not living in LA in our mansions, but we're doing all right at the moment. And that's
Yeah,
all because we just said, let's just do what we enjoy and let's just do it ourselves.
yeah, yeah. But you
So
don't really you don't want to leave, go to LA and
of course not.
Liverpool is the place to be. um, okay, I was gonna ask you something about. I didn't realize that you are also teach drums. So is it any age or just kids? All ages?
All ages, all ages. Just how it is. It's predominantly like under 18s because I used to teach at a music school, and it was mainly under 18s coming in. But I've taught ages. I used to teach a guy, a 65-year-old guy, like drums. He just wanted to learn drums, and I taught him for the best part of a year. Yeah, so there's no particular age range. I've taught as young as 4, which is insane. Trying to teach a 4-year-old drums, like that's hard. That's hard.
So would you say that being a drummer, you can learn it, or it's got to be in you first? So I mean, your students, your drum students, do you think that there's really that they can do it, or
No,
you'll be able to sort of like teach them?
You can 100% learn. Some people are born naturally with rhythm. Like what I find the hardest thing to teach is rhythm. Like if a kid can come in and clap along to a song, that's he's miles ahead of someone who can't. Some people don't know how to clap along to a song, and that's like the foundation of drumming. Definitely learn it. Some people are just naturally like I've got rhythm, maybe because that's how they've been brought up listening to music. But yeah, I mean, you can practice as much as you want. You'll still get to the level you need to be if you practice.
Right, because I've always thought like I always believe that it's got to be in you, that drummers have this sort of like special thing, like you right from the start, early age, you just tap and then you're tapping all the time and things like that.
I've seen like videos on like TikTok of like 5-year-old drum prodigies, and some of them are better than me, and I'm like, that's mad, like that's insane. How are you that good when you're like 6? I mean, obviously, like that's people are just born with it. Most of us aren't, I think.
Yeah. I actually sort of like tried learning it. I just couldn't. I think I'm more so like liking to watch. I prefer watching drummers do it than actually me learning it myself. But I also wanted to ask you, do you still go to a lot of gigs? Not your gigs, obviously, but so like to other bands?
Yeah, so like last night I was in the Jacaranda downstairs, and it was like it was like a house band, and it was all full of Liverpool musicians playing like 70s covers, and it was really cool. What other gigs have I been to? Oh man, I go. I just forgot now.
You still go, and do you look at the drummers?
Yeah. Of course. Of course. Yeah, I like it. I do like watching drummers as well. Like I'm a drummer, so that's what I'm interested in.
And do you sort of like what's your sort of like thinking when you go and see them? I mean, for me, I'm sort of like, because I'm a fan, I just sort of like, oh wow, it's so amazing. But being a drummer yourself, when you see a fellow drummer sort of like doing it, do you think that, oh, I can do that? That's something that
yeah, I'll be like, well, I can't do that. I'll have to go home and try and do that. You know what? 2 drummers who I think are absolutely brilliant Liverpool drummers. Carl Dillon out the Night Cafe. He is a top drummer. Like he's insane. He's a really good drummer. And also, actually, there's 3. There's Paul Crilly from the Mysteries. He's a very talented drummer. And I also rate Jim Sharrock as well. He's brilliant.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Jim Carrock he's
he's
amazing.
really good. Yeah, really good.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Anton, for saying yes to Master Drummer. And if you want to just sort of like invite everyone to your gig next year, which is like it's yeah, what you said, it's massive. It's like it's a home gig as well, Liverpool.
Home turf. Yeah. So yeah, Cheap Thrills are content on the 2nd of March 2024. It's in Baltic area, Liverpool. Yeah, you find us on social media, the Cheap Thrills.
Yeah, and new album hopefully coming out next year.
There's new
Hopefully.
music. Whether what form that'll be in, I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, we're really looking forward to it, and I hope to see you next year.
Oh yeah.
And good luck with everything. If you're like a manager or being signed and everything, but good luck.
Ah, thanks very
I
much.
wish you all the best because I really think the cheap thrills are absolutely amazing. And first time I saw you, I just thought, wow.
It's
Yes.
a pleasure.
All right. Well, thank you, Anton. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and
You
hope to see
too.
you. Yeah.
Bye
Take
now.
care.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Oh, thank you so much, everyone. It is such amazing. Like I said, if you haven't heard of the Cheap Thrills before, check them out on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and or YouTube as well. Look them up on YouTube and so like see their videos and things because they're absolutely amazing. So thank you all once again, and please keep an eye out for next week's guest announcement post. We're gonna have another amazing drummer. I'm still sort of like waiting for a confirmation, but because it's the 98th, it's not the 100 sort of like episode yet. But anyways, yeah, it will all be on the Ask the Drummer Facebook page. So thank you and enjoy the rest of your weekend. And as always, love music, love life, and love drummers. See you all again next week. Bye for now. Bye.